Hello ladies and gentlemen, we will be learning about the reverse list method proof today. This type of proof is a little bit more complicated than those we have discussed so far. It allows those who may not like working from the front to the end work in reverse order, just like the name suggests. It requires the student to ask him or herself, what information do I need and what strategies can I use to prove that? Because of this, the reverse list method forces students to think a little bit harder about trying to prove the problem. Let's look at an example. It can be found on page 131 of the Unit 2 Geometry book. The problem reads, given that TUVW is a rectangle and that X is the midpoint of line segment TU, prove that triangle XWV is isosceles. Because it is a reverse list, the given information will be down at the bottom and the final proof will be at the top. We will start from the top down, but solving the problem backwards. We need to prove that triangle XWV is isosceles, and we know this if two of its sides are congruent. Next, we have to prove that two sides of the triangle are congruent, so line segment VX is congruent to line segment WX. Will be our next statement, and we will use CPCTC in order to show this. In order to use this saying or theorem, we need to have two triangles that are congruent, which leads to the next statement in reason. Triangles WXT and VXU are congruent, and we will use the postulate SAS to prove this. You may not know what the postulate is, so you may just want to write triangle postulate in the U/reason space and then come back to it whenever you know what the postulate is definitely. The rest of the information in order to solve the problem is fairly standard. It shows how we got the postulate we did, as well as some information about the rectangle. The next need is that line segment TW and line segment UV are two congruent sides, and this is due to the fact that the opposite sides of a rectangle are congruent. After that, TUVW is a rectangle which is given. Angle T is congruent to angle U because all the angles in a rectangle are congruent. TUVW is a rectangle which is given again. Line segment TX is congruent to line segment UX again because the opposite sides of a rectangle are congruent. And finally, X is the midpoint of line segment TU, which was given. That's it. We've solved this problem by proving the statement using the reverse list method. In the next part, we will be talking about paragraph proofs. Thank you for watching. We have hoped that you enjoyed and learned something about proofs, specifically how to use the reverse list method.